Only available from Baro. These things are going to be a pain to get. You will be able to trade for them, but at the time Baro came with these, they were not tradable. They were probably made tradable later, so you can either trade for them if they do become tradable, or you have to get them from Baro, which can be a pain, but they actually have a downside to these. They took the impact off them that could ruin them to do a little bit less slash, but a little bit more puncture. So all in all, way less damage. The accuracy's better, the crit chances better, the crit multiplier, fire rate, magazine's almost double, the reload's quicker, it has more status. On paper, these things should be way nicer than the other ones because of the added bonuses. And it does come with a V polarity already on it, so another kind of added bonus. Do I have a ribbon for it? I don't. The ribbon for these probably going to go up very quickly. And as expected, I did end up throwing 2 Vs on this. I may have added another one, I'm not really sure, but the picture will probably tell you that. And just threw on all the elemental stuff because 100% status was just too much to not at least try for. But sadly, even with Pistol, Pestilent, Jolt, Scorch and Frostbite in here, it only goes to 98.6% status chance, which just, yeah, it's kind of low. Lethal Torrent, Barrel Diffusion, you take either of those out and the multi-shot added bonus completely disappears. It does stay in the 90s though, so yeah, it kind of had to have an extra crit chance mod thrown in there, just because it made sense. There is a lot of different ways of modding these, but compared to the normal ones, I was really hoping that these things, with the added status and the added crit, the big saving point came to be none of those, but came to be the fact that the 30 magazine is now 70, and the slightly increased fire rate once you put Lethal Torrent on, that took it to 14.13. If it had the normal size magazine, this would have been terrible. It was the only saving feature was the magazine is now 70 on these things, which made a huge improvement to them. If it didn't have that magazine, these things would never have been worth it. Considering the twin gremlins can be such a pain to actually get a hold of because you have to go and take on Vor and that other boss. There they are. It was Krill, who of course drops Frost over on Mars, but they were moved from Phobos to Ceres, so I actually had an issue finding where these had been moved to, which makes it a pain to actually get the blueprint to drop. But once it does drop, those things were actually really easy to build. There's no parts to get for them, and honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed the original Gremlins. These, no pun intended, but there is the gremlin of that lack of impact there that made the normal ones slightly better depending on who you're going against. But the Prime Balto is actually a secondary that exists, and it kind of works on the similar way that this works, so that is definitely still better than these. But if you are having an issue finding the blueprint for the twin gremlins, this is a much easier way of getting a hold of those weapons, because it's just farming them is a complete pain. I just remember the nightmare of fighting these two bosses when they first came out. And that's all just simply down to Krill can be a pain if you don't know how to take Krill down. But honestly, I was really hoping there was going to be a lot more behind these. They were going to be a lot better than they turned out to be. They weren't horrible on any way, but my expectations for these was way higher than they actually turned out to be, and I put 2 former on, maybe a third at the time of recording. I'm really considering the third one, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to waste that third one on them at the moment. I probably didn't, because I have the normal ones which have 3 former in them, and they're just, there is so many better weapons than this, which was kind of expected. But if you are Mastery Rank 11, these can be an absolutely amazing life-saving weapon. There was nothing wrong with them at all. It's just, obviously there are sadly better things out there, and The expectation was way higher than they actually turned out to be. They were kind of a letdown in that department, but they are actually way better than I'm kind of making them sound there. It's just, I cannot stress that enough. I was expecting so much more from these, but that 3 impact really did kind of take away from what made the Gremlins. Their ability to kind of take down Grenier fairly easily was just ruined with that 3 impact. Even modded, I think it was, I had 113 puncture, 101 slash, and 26 impact, which does increase it obviously slightly, but it was without Hornet Strike in there. It only went up to 8.3 from multi-shot alone. They're still good. They could just have been so much better. Anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous next time.